What's happening, guys and gals? Bonafide Hustler here, and today we're going to talk about selling these garage sale items on eBay and Amazon. In fact, we're going to sell these items at my antique booth and locally if we can. So, hope you guys can hear me and let me know that. So, I'm going to get right to it. Lots of things on Bonafide Hustler's plate. I mean, lots of things. But I did want to take a second out of my day and show you guys this haul from last weekend, which I thought was pretty good. We ended up hustling from about 7 o'clock to about 10:10 or so. So we're like 3 hours-ish. And this is what we found here in Austin, Texas. I was also with Hustler Hacks, Glenn. I filmed the whole thing, but you probably won't see that until like 3 weeks from now. And I was also with another green room member and my brother as well. So we had 4 hustlers in the car, and we all seem to had found something at these garage sales, with the exception of Glenn. But Glenn also is traveling back to El Paso, and he's on a plane, so he really can't take very much. But let's see what I found. So what you're going to see here is a lot of stuff that my brother and I have found this past weekend, specifically Saturday. All right, so I'll kind of get to like one of the very first finds. This is going to make its way into the booth. I paid $2 for this. This is a vintage crested butte hat. I thought this was really neat. Now, I don't know what kind of hat it is. The types of hat that are very floppy and like it has no structure to it, right? It's not like a new era or anything like that. It's a very floppy type hat. Really interesting retro, kind of like hot pink with green neon accents. Thought it was a pretty solid pickup for $2. It is a Velcro back as well, which is cool. So it's a Velcro back, and it has a tiny like cigarette hole in the back, which shouldn't be a huge issue. This is going to go in my booth for about 24 bucks. Thought this was pretty good. Let me shout out a couple of people that are here. What's up, Jason Kreider? We have Glenn, the Swamp Picker. We have In the Sun by the Beach, Adam A517, Michelle's World. Good to see everybody. And TY Hipstar. I'll just do a random question, not right now, but when we get to about 50 people, I'll do a random question. And that question has to do with what happens on July 15th. So I have something that keeps bugging my head. Okay, so that was at that garage sale. I thought that was a pretty solid pickup, right? $2. When it's all said and done, the antique booth will probably yield me about, after fees and everything with their commission, about 18 or 20. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, so we went to another garage sale. I thought this was pretty good. And everyone was like looking around, finding stuff. And there's a really funny story behind this box. But the box itself is kind of funny. There's something funny on the outside. So check this out. This was under a table at a garage sale this past Saturday. And I got really excited when I saw this on the side of the box. All right. Would you get excited too? Maybe it's just the fact that I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, but I was really born at the last part of the 70s. But when I saw this on the box, I got really, really excited. So when I see this, I expect to find certain things inside. And I noticed the very top thing, and I was like, oh, that's a part of the pizza thrower, right? So here's the part of the pizza thrower, but this thing's not worth anything, really. But that's how I kind of knew, like, okay, so the era of the kind of toys that are in here is going to be around, this kind of thing right here. So that's good. That means you're going to be finding some 88s and 90s and, turtles like that. So inside are a bunch of figurines, and I'll show a couple right here because some of them are really cool. And the last time I had this kind of stuff, I could put this in my vintage booth. I could put it on eBay, but singles are just not like the best thing ever to sell on eBay unless you can match the weapons with them, and or they're still in the box or in the case, which these are in the box, but they're not in their original case. So I probably won't do eBay on this. I'll probably single tag certain ones, and I'll throw them in my booth like in a bowl, right? And the last time I did that, it was with He-Man figures, and there were some Thundercats in there too. And man, it's just like sold super fast. So I'll probably tag these at around $4 to $5 a piece. But I'll pull out a couple ones. This is a 1990, I want to say. This is a 1990 Mirage Studios, not a Playmates one or anything like that. 1990 Mirage Studios. This is a Michelangelo. Pretty cool. Thought it was pretty solid. We have that guy. We have some other guys from the Turtles stuff. I don't even know who this guy is. We have this dude. Thought this was pretty cool. We have some He-Man figures in here, which is crazy because usually the rubber band in these things, I don't know how it survived all these years because there's a little rubber band inside there. So we have a He-Man right there. This is a 1981 He-Man right here. Pretty interesting. And we have some kind of transforming type turtles like this. This is a little bit more, this is retro still, but it's not anything to be real like pumped up about. Here's the original pieces of the original Shredder, I guess, right there. And some of these have missing, pieces and stuff. We have a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger right here. But there are some original turtles. Like I saw a couple originals. This one's one that talks on the back. This one's nothing special. But I'll find you an original like turtle, and you'll be like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And hopefully, I'm not talking too loud into this speaker thing. But just want to show you some of the things. There was an original one in here. I know. I mean, I saw it like pretty quickly. Now, I don't know if this part right here is a part of Krang, for example. There's this thing, and Krang was one of the villain dudes. So I thought it was pretty cool. This could be a Krang piece right here. We have some space turtles right here that are 1990 Mirage Studios. And let me see if I can find that. Oh, here we go. Who knows who this is right here? Thought this was pretty cool. Everyone should know who that guy is, right? Pretty cool. And I have his counterpart as well. But an original turtle, I think this might be one right here. I think this is it. So, yeah, this is a 1988 Mirage. So, like, this is the original Donatello, as I remember. And the bow staff is probably in here somewhere. There are a lot of weapons down here in this thing. So, this was $5. I couldn't haggle with the lady, and I really, there's really no need to when I see a pretty decent amount of money to be made from this, and I'll be putting this in my booth. That's pretty much it. If I see any pieces or parts, then I'm going to just throw them in the trash. But for the most part, we have a fair amount of turtles here, Thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and there's some Power Rangers in here. But that was a little bit after my time, the Power Rangers. But there's this guy right here, and I don't know if the date is on him or whatever. Probably made in China, 96 Bandai. So, yeah, that's a 96 Power Ranger. I don't think there's anything special about that one. But pretty cool, nevertheless. Oh, sweet. I actually did find Krang. Check this out. I just saw this just now. This is Krang. There we go. So we have a Krang in there. That's pretty solid. I like that. Yeah. All right. So there's Krang. Pretty nice little score. $5 for that. So you can kind of see what I'm going to do with that. Let's go to something else. It's also going to find its way in my booth. This was $1 pair of boots. The brand is nothing like super special, but it is all leather, and the bottom of it looks pretty good. I'll be asking, since these are white and women's, white women's boots in the booth, with a decent amount of ornate stitching. It's not super ornate, but it's nice. And it's definitely like way, way past like Target brands and all that kind of stuff. It's a real leather white boot. This will probably go in for about 40 or 50 bucks in the booth. Not bad. Something that's going to go on eBay. Let's talk about this real quick. Then we'll talk about something that goes on Amazon. I thought this was pretty solid. This was $2. I couldn't believe it when I found it. I was like, oh my God. This was awesome. This is a really, really good score. What's up, guys? Good to see you. So this was like one of the most, I thought, solid scores of the weekend, because it's pretty rare. It's up there with like the CC Filson garments and stuff like that. $2. And it's I guess it's more like a vintage Browning waxed cotton jacket, like super awesome, with a flannel interior. I mean, this thing feels like wet. It feels like a waxed cotton. I don't know how to explain it. If you've never felt waxed canvas or waxed cotton before, you are missing out. Now, we know that this is really high quality because we can see that the YKK zipper is like a gigantic zipper. And once it's zipped up, you can kind of see how nice it is. It's more of like a all around. It's not so much a field jacket, because a field jacket's usually longer, right? And it sometimes has like waistband drawing in string kind of things. But this is more like an everyday jacket, like a ranch style jacket. And I thought it was just killer. I mean, no holes. The interior's in perfect condition. And this is kind of like the way that you want to find them, like all beat up. And the person that is going to be the buyer can decide whether they want to, re-wax it or anything like that. But this is pretty solid, And the reason why is like, why would you want to wax it? Well, the wax also is a repellent of sorts. It prevents a little bit of wind coming through, and it also makes it semi-water repellent as well. So it feels interesting. It feels like a wet garment, but it's not wet at all. It's just waxed, and it's got that neat beat up look. So pretty solid. If you go to the Filson store and you try to buy a waxed canvas jacket or a waxed cotton jacket, you're gonna be in like the $350 range automatically, like $350 or above, for a jacket that is kind of like this. So for $2, I thought I could not lose on that. I'm going to try to aim for like 150 or so on eBay with this one right here. Thought it was pretty, I mean, it doesn't come around very often on eBay. So I think 150 is pretty fair. Let's talk about another find that I found. This was at a Savers for 30 bucks. And my brother popped on this one. Now, if you get the right games associated with this one item and you put them on Amazon, you can make some serious bank. So these guitars, typically with the games, you're looking at, you know, Amazon netting you a check of about 68 on one, and I think on another is about like 88 or something like that. So there are two guitars in this World Tour pack right here. We have the Sunburst right there, and then we have, or the Sunburst, I think this is called the Sunburst Stratocaster, and then we have the Les Paul right there. You can pair them up with World Tour or other various games, but he's going to do them individually. And yeah, you definitely want to be looking into these kind of guitars. I want to say that this one goes with Guitar Hero something Legends of Rock 3 maybe is like the really good bundle to aim for on FBA, and then this one is the World Tour one if I'm not mistaken. But check it out, make sure it all tests out. Look for very, very floppy type whammy bars, because that's not a good thing. You want to send them in with the whammy bars not flopping around. And yeah, I mean, these are both breakaway guitars too. That means the neck breaks away from the guitar, and it's an easy way to make some good money on Amazon. And the ranks are usually like sub 5,000, meaning it, you know, if you have a competitive price, like it'll almost always sell pretty much immediately. So that was pretty good. Adam A517 says, don't forget to smash the like button, guys and gals. That's right. You know, I don't ask about it very much, but the way that you do applause or clapping here on YouTube is you just hit the like button, you know, for free content, for, you know, learning things and all that. So if you like what you're seeing, or you like what you're hearing, then hit the like button. It's a way that I see that you guys are clapping and like applauding. So I would appreciate it. So yeah, take a look at that. That was 30 bucks. Now most people will be like, 30 bucks, that's a crazy amount of money. It's 30 bucks, but we also had a 30% off coupon with Savers, so that brought it down to about 22 out the door. He pairs it up with two games. There, you know, we look for these games that are between $1 and like sometimes $5 a piece, and that makes the bundle, right? You take a game, a controller, find it on Amazon, and usually you can build the correct bundle. While we're on that note, you know, certain bundles need Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. So eMoney bought this one for. How much did you buy this one for? Let's take a look here. I don't even know if it's even on here. 2 video games for $7.98. So, you know, $4 a video game, you might be thinking that's a lot, but it's really not when you're pairing it up with the right guitar and sending it in. So we have Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, which I think this is the one going with Les Paul. We have Guitar Hero 2, which this goes with a certain guitar that my brother's going to pair it up with as well. So, you know, there are a lot of bundles on Amazon, and finding these games for cheap. Most people are like, well, isn't $1 real cheap? And you know, $5 is like really expensive. Well, it depends. Like I said, the bundle is what matters. So if you're 11 into a guitar and 4 into a game, you know, with some tax and stuff, $17, and the thing is 5,000 rank, and you can, you know, net $68 from Amazon, or 84 or 87. You know, my brother has shown me, you know, just, how do I say it? Like net checks of, not net checks, but net amounts of around 80s and 68s and things like that. That's good. That's really good stuff. So you can kind of see how it comes together. I usually let him take care of all that kind of stuff. All right, let's talk about something else. This will probably find its way locally sometime at some point. An HJC helmet, like in cherry condition, perfect condition, $5. You know, you can't pass that up. That's probably gonna either find its way locally or go on eBay. It's a CLX5N, which is nothing really like super, super awesome. But it is an HJC. It's okay. It's not a, you know, an Icon or any of those really awesome helmets like a Thor, but it's a very mint condition, probably used once helmet. So $5 is absolutely like, I got to pop on it. I have to. All right, you guys having fun? Let me know. Rockstar Flipper, what's up? What's he saying here? Hey, Chris, are you guys coming to the eBay Open? When is that? Let me know. I might come. I'm not 100% sure. I have my schedule this year seems to just be like ridiculous. And this green room meetup is right around the corner. And then I think I'm going to be in Charlotte like the week after. And then I'm going to be in California the end of August. And yeah, we're just planning a lot of things right now. So anyway, oh yeah, so we have 69 people watching right now. Welcome to the show. If you like what you are hearing or seeing, hit the like button as a clap, 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 a cheddar clap. This was pretty much a no-brainer as well. This is going to probably find its way locally. This is a Saurus Bones 2, $5. Like I didn't even want to use the 30% off coupon for this, because you use the 30% off coupon, if you have a bunch of them, then yeah, use them for whatever. But like, you know, I have like 2 or 3 at a time, and I don't like to use them on very low items. Like this is $5. Like I don't care about getting it for, you know, $3.50 or anything. It doesn't matter anymore. It's low enough. This is a Saris Bones 2. They make Saris Bones 3. A Saris Bones 3 in town will sell between 60 and 80. A Saris Bones 2 will sell for about 50, and this is $5. Like this is just a no-brainer. In great condition. Anytime you get a Saris Bones rack, you definitely, if you want to just kind of check like real quickly, like wear and tear, look at the ends of the nylon straps, and they should be nice and cauterized and, you know, nice and flat. These look really good. Second thing you want to check are the actual clasps right here, and these are in perfect shape because they're silver. They're not rusted. They look good. They look really good. The last thing you want to check is to make sure that these guys haven't stripped out. These are the adjustment screw, the plastic screws. And I did say plastic because if you back one all the way out, this is where a majority of these things get broken, or not broken, but the screw will just strip itself. So that's what a plastic screw looks like. And you would think that they would put aluminum ones, and maybe that's just the way they keep the cost down or whatever. But yeah, then you just do it like that, and it's pretty easy to figure out. This goes on the back of a car. It's a trunk-mounted bike rack, and it holds 2 bikes. So if you ever see this brand Saris, definitely take a second or two. Maybe look up your local Craigslist, like, you know, can I sell this or something in my local Craigslist? But you know, my brother just flipped one of these for $50 last week. I mean, these are kind of like, since we live in a bike town, we seem to find 1 or 2 of these a month, you know, on average. But if you find the Saris Bones 3, that's a really, really good one. That's the one you really want to be finding. But you never pass up a good deal like this. All right, I'm going to go into a couple comments real quick before I show you some of these other finds, and one of them is like really, really neat. Rockstar Flipper says, I got to bribe Chris to come to Vegas. He's the reason I started growing my eBay 5 years ago and YouTube and everything. What's up, Casey? Good to see you, man. Yeah, so I was just in Vegas, man, just so you know. The cheddar clap sounds like a really bad STD is what Lonnie is saying. Garage Flips. What's up, man? Good to see you, Lonnie. All right. When am I going to Charlotte Bonafide? I'm considering going to Charlotte the weekend of the 22nd. So I'm considering it. I'm not 100% sure yet. Okay. Milo Jimmy says, I have 4 of those in my garage now. It's easy, 50 to 65 bucks in Houston for a Saris Bones 2. Yes, and Milo Jimmy will be on an upcoming an upcoming ride-along. He is a Green Room member right now. Okay, I'm going to show you something else that E-Money popped on. I think this was like $10 or something, and he wanted to get into this, so let me get it out of here. All right, so we have this was at the same garage sale where I picked up the Ninja Turtles. This is what my brother picked out. Some Justin boots. Let's open this and take a look at them. He paid 10. That's what they say, 10. The lady didn't want to work any deals. And these are a little bit more work boot-ish, right? Oil-resisting sole, you know, in good condition, right? I got some scuffs and scratches, but they're not bad. Like, this looks pretty good to me. These are Justin's. They feel nice, soft, supple. I like it. $10. You really can't lose on this. He'll likely sell these on eBay for about $55, $65. That's my guess. And the good thing is they already have the box too, which is cool. So, you know, you just make sure you tape the box together, everything, put all the nice little bubble wrap in there and slap a label on top and off you go. That can go directly to eBay as it is. I could be wrong on the price. It could be higher though, because it is a nice boot, but that style is not typically like a roper style or like the style of that people really associate to cowboy boots. That's more of like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it's more like a rodeo boot, everyday work boot, ranch boot, you know, things like that. Not so much a going out or fashion type thing, more of like everyday, bends real nice, feels real good kind of boot. Almost always already broken in like the second you get it. All right. Now for like the best scores, like right here. And I'll show you that one in a second. I'll show you something very interesting that I picked up for $3. Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is right here? This was $3. All right. So I think most guys might know what this is, but I thought this was interesting. I couldn't pass it up. Like, there was a price tag on it for $5. I was like, what? It was leaning up against a tree. I was like, there's no way. And I wish it was for, anyway. Who knows what this is? Go ahead and take a guess. Take a guess. Because it's interesting. It's a snorkel. Yes. It's a snorkel. That's right. So I got a snorkel. Thought it was pretty solid. You know, it's not every part of the snorkel, but it's the most important part of the snorkel, right? This goes on the side of your truck. And, you know, would you guys pick this thing up for $3? $3. I mean, think about it. I thought it was so cool. Like, anyway, it was one of those like, oh man, the first thing I thought was like, God, you know, what does that go to and everything like that. You know, I was hoping it would go to a Toyota, right? Because I would probably put it on mine, but no, it goes to something else. So anyways, thought that was pretty cool. The question is, would you guys pick that up for $3? No one has answered that question yet. So anyway, that was a solid pickup. I thought, who the hell passes this thing up? Like, we were at the garage sale at like 8:45. The snorkel had been outside for like 45 minutes. The ironic thing about it is, as soon as I picked up the snorkel and paid for it, it started raining super, super hard. So that was kind of ironic because I'm holding a snorkel in my hand and it's raining, you know? So anyway, now I said it on the end of that video, and you'll see that in a long time from now. But I say like, oh, I'll see you guys later. I'm going to go to a bike swap meet later and everything like that. So I go to a bike swap meet. Oh my God. Like, the best thing of the swap meet actually is not in this room. I got a super killer hat that I think I'm going to keep. It's so cool. Anyways, you'll see it when you see it, you'll know it. Like, you'll see me wearing it and you'll be like, holy crap, that is a really cool hat. And it has to do with space. I'll just put it like that. But the other thing that I popped on for $70 was this. So this is pretty cool. Like, this is just like, holy crap. Like, believe it or not, this thing on eBay is about $450, $500 new. So I picked it up, you know, in really good condition for $70. And it is this right here. It's a Jet Fluid Pro Cyclops Trainer. Okay. And you might be like, what the hell is this thing? It looks like really weird. It looks like a very odd contraption. This is a device that you put on the floor, provides resistance for when you are road cycling in place. Like, if you want to, you know, you basically put your skewers in here, not your skewers, but you put your axle in here, you rotate this, meets up with your bike, and then that's it. You basically, you know, this is the fluid trainer in here. There's fluid in here, and then there's a little wheel. You can see my thumb hitting it. That provides the resistance. So anytime that you deal with these, the lowest end ones are going to be, the resistance is going to be wind, right? The middle tier ones are, the resistance is going to be what's called magnetic. And then the higher tier ones are going to be fluid. So Cyclops is real good. And then Kinetic is a really good one as well. They're typically green. But two real good bike trainers to look for in the market will be Cyclops, which is down there, and Kinetic, which is the green one. You almost can't lose on those if you buy them super cheap. Now, someone might be like watching this and go, how the hell is $70 super cheap? Trust me, if you look it up on eBay, a Jet Fluid Pro, you'll see that there's some with like 40 bids at like $200 with like $30 shipping. Like, it's a good deal. So thought it was a pretty good one. You know, that is definitely, I'm so glad I went to the bicycle swap meet. I was going there to find bicycle pieces or a helmet for my wife when we go downhill mountain biking this year. And speaking of mountain biking, I got this amazing, you know, these amazing scars yesterday from pulling a wheelie and completely busting my ass. But hey, if you're not trying, you're not succeeding. Or if you're not trying, you're not getting anywhere. So that was pretty interesting. I hurt all over my body right now. But that's pretty much it. I think, you know, I thought that there was pretty good scores. And I wanted to do this video now so I can start processing this stuff. But I'll leave it open for Q&A, maybe for like 10 minutes. If you guys have any questions, I keep looking around the room, and I do this all the time. You'll see them on my videos. If I do a haul, I keep looking around the room because I always forget to show you guys something. So sorry, I apologize if I'm looking around. There's always something that I miss. There's always. So, battle scars. Yeah, I got battle scars. There you go. We got a good one that says, I don't need to look it up. I believe what you say, Bonafide. I believe what you say. Yeah. Yeah, $70. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But, you know, $70, like, so someone's saying, like, no one's saying that $70 is a lot of money when it's a $500 item new. True. It's just one of those, it's kind of falls out of the realm because it's like a garage sale day. And typically, if I'm shelling out 50s or 70s or 100s, it's for like bike stuff, you know, like actual bike stuff, like bikes. So a lot of people, if I'm going to say I paid $70 for this trainer, I better really explain why, because when someone goes out there and sees a Blackburn trainer that's a total piece of junk, or like a very low end Trek one, or a low end Kurt Kinetic, or even a low end Cyclops one you buy for $70. Oh yeah, because Bonafide did, it gets you in big trouble. So you kind of have to know the hierarchy of like what makes a trainer really good. Just like the trims of a car make, there's like leather, and then there's cloth. There could be soft text in the middle, right? But the trims add to the price of the car itself. So if I could give you any amount of knowledge when it comes to bike trainers, I would stick with really 2 brands only, Kurt Kinetic and Cyclops. And then just remember that the base level ones, it almost looks like it has a propeller on the side, like a circular propeller disc thing. Those are going to be wind powered, like they're powered. The resistance to the rider that's training inside the home is wind, like it's just wind resistance or air resistance. The other ones in the middle that are like in the $200, $300 category are going to be magnetic. All right. And then the last ones are going to be fluid. There's fluid in there, and that's providing the resistance. So that's basically it. There's nothing higher than fluid, really. The only thing higher than fluid is truly just riding your bike. Like that's the most realistic you'll get. But most people have trainers because it helps them warm up before races. It helps them ride if sometimes it's too cold or it's too rainy outside. And it helps them, keep fluid. It keeps their body going, even if it's for 10 minutes a day or whatever, it keeps them warmed up. So let me get the questions here. Adrian Molina says, that's why I love your videos, because you break stuff down. That's right. Any more? Oh, here we go. Adrian Molina, is Hyperlite a good wake skate brand? Yes, it is. Hyperlite's great. I think I don't ride Hyperlite. I ride Ronix. So my wake skate is, what is it? I think it actually is a Hyperlite. Now that I think about it, it might be a Liquid Force. I think it might be a Hyperlite. I have a wake skate. I'm not good at it though. It's just a totally different dynamic. I plan to get good at it this year. Good being a shove it or something, or an ollie or something like really cool. Yeah, I do have one. I think it is a Hyperlite. I want to say it's a Hyperlite Byerly wake skate, and I bought it at the Goodwill for $10. So Hyperlite's good if you're going to deal with lake related items that are not water skis, all right, that are wakeboards or wake surfboards or even wake skates, even though that wake skates are kind of like out, right? It's just no one really does it anymore. Then you're going to want to deal with these brands: Liquid Force, Hyperlite, CWB, Connolly Wakeboard. O'Brien's okay. And then there's one more. Ronix is really good. I like Ronix a lot. There's even one more after that. Anyway, if it comes to me, I'll let you guys know. But those are really solid brands. If you deal with wake surfboards, you're going to deal with Inland Surfer. Those are really good. Ronix is really good for wake surfboards. Liquid Force is okay. CWB makes wake surfboards. And yeah, there is a difference between wake surfing and wakeboarding and wake skating and things like that. It's very technical, but if you've ever been on the lake and you do this for sport, you start to realize the difference pretty quickly between all of it. 10 count the base. So question, what do you think your workout regimen will look like in your 60s? I just ask because I see older and older people working out here in the Bay. Honestly, I think my workout regimen when I'm 60 will probably be very similar to what I'm doing now. So I go heavy. I spread my heavy days like really far apart from each other during the week. And then I do a lot of like randomness in the middle. Like it can just be high reps, a lot of burnout things, hit workouts, all that stuff in the middle. But the gym for me is like a means to an end. The end is really, snowboarding, surfing, mountain biking, all that. It's building a body so I can handle all that stuff. Like it's just a means to an end. In the end, my happiness belongs outside. And so, yeah, and my private label brand, you will see soon. I think my first product will be done in 7 days. Like I think 7 is, I dropped off today my private label product to a store that's going to do the last piece of assembly of it. Like that's pretty cool. So, yeah, and I put half money down and half upon, seeing the finished product, and it's interesting. So, but yeah, my brand will be about that. It'll be about staying fit, and doing things outside, basically. So, let me get another question. I have a fair amount of time for questions. I could do 10 or 15 minutes. Have I ever tried hustling hearing aids? No, Quinora, I've never done that, but I have hustled hearing aid batteries very successfully, so that's pretty cool. Luis Miguel, where did you learn all that stuff about products? Bonafide Experience or eBay? Um, I've spent a lot of time. It's a little bit of both, right? But it's also, I think, when I was in college, there were just always in my head like I just want to hustle. I want to make money a different way. I don't want to work for somebody, even though I did work for corporations about 11 or 12 years of my life. I just never found my happiness in that kind of stuff. So my happiness lies in finding alternate ways of making money that are still bona fide. Like, how do I say it? It's very lawful. It's legit. I'm not going to get into any drug dealing or anything like that. So the name bona fide hustler, someone that hustles in a very legit way. And that's one of those, when to answer the question, like, how do you know so much about stuff? I just kept my eyes and ears open to all the other things outside of like the normal stuff. So if most people are just like, doing all this normal crazy things with their life or the normal things, I'm focusing on the other stuff. I'm looking at people's shoes and the quality of jeans and why is North Face a trend? Why was North Face a trend with, all the fraternity and sorority people? And like, I'm trying to understand all these things. Like, I just have a weird mind, and it's just crazy. So I try to figure all that kind of stuff out, and then it leads me to do research, and then through research I find out really quality things. Or even when I'm like riding, like I'm a big rider kind of guy, like I ride bikes, and you can tell a difference between a crappy bike and a good bike. And then when you get on a good bike and then you ride someone else's like amazing bike, you're like, damn, like I thought mine was a good bike. Then you start to realize like quality really matters. Anything that you buy in America, quality matters. It can be as simple as a bicycle. It could be as advanced as, the second generation boosted board has double Bluetooth technology. So if the first Bluetooth drops off, at least you're not on a runaway board. Like, it's kind of cool to me. Like, I like that. And yeah, stuff like that. Gimbals, like stupid things. Like, I just like that kind of stuff. It's interesting, but I like a lot of outdoors things too. So if it comes down to like, hey man, I could buy this wakeboard for $200, or I could buy that next one for $300. I want to know what the hell's better about the $300 one. Like, I want to know what the core is made of. I want to know what it's going to do when I hit the wake. Like, I want to know, why. And from all that kind of studying, applying it to clothing and shoes, and you start to realize like, wow, there's a lot of entry level stuff, and there's a lot of really, really good stuff in the world. And there's a reason why people pay up for that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's the reason why. Does members only still sell? I think it's been a while since I've found a members only anything. Seems like the Goodwills here in town know that it is worth something, because there seem to be about $20 starting price when members only jacket or anything like that. I haven't found one in a long time. Then again, I've almost exclusively stopped going to estate sales. So how do I say that? That was the wrong statement. I've pretty much stopped going to estate sales. They're just not my thing. In Austin, Texas, we have an abundance of garage sales. We have a ton of pawn shops, a ton of thrift stores. Like, I just don't need to be waiting in line with other people that are like typically not, they're just resellers. Like, that's pretty much everyone in line for an estate sale in the morning here in Austin, Texas. Like, why would I want to wait in line amongst competition to go in and pay higher prices for stuff? And there might not even be anything that I want inside. I say that because those were the places where I was finding a lot of members only stuff for like dirt cheap, $1, $2, $3, throwing in my booth for, whatever. I like the brand. Members only is cool stuff. It's definitely very 80s ish, but I haven't found much of it. I don't know if it's like not cool anymore. I have no idea. Mischievous Mouse says, I like that Bonafide sells things that he loves. Yes, but I also sell a lot of things that I don't love. And for example, today I was looking at my shoe wall of my pre-box shoes, and I saw so many things that I'm just like, oh, like Z-Coil shoes. I saw some Z-Coil shoes, some just a bunch of other random, just dumb shoes that I don't care about. In fact, at some point today, I remember I was like, why the hell am I buying these things? Like, I was looking at certain boxes that I'm going to take down some of my longer inventory and just remove it from eBay and just donate it to a thrift store so I can have more space for good stuff. But I'm like, why is this even here? And I like found myself taking the box off and like putting it in a corner. At that point tomorrow, for about an hour, I'm going to hack open boxes, take the products out, dump them into another box that'll go in the back of my SUV and go straight to a Savers. Yeah, but I buy a lot of things that I don't enjoy too, but I buy them because they're profitable or they have markets. And you can't be picky when you're a hustler. Like, if something's good and you can make good ROI on it, then buy it. It just so happens that if you start your hustler journey and you want to be really successful, you kind of want to buy things that you already know about. And then you then experiment with other things after having some home runs and after dissecting why a home run was a home run. Like, you have to understand what it was. It was the market that made it good. Was it the fact that I found a rare model? What was it? And you have to look back and dissect it and go, okay, like, now how can I apply that to other products? And yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Another question. Do I want to raid someone? No. 10K on the Bay has some remarks. I don't know what it's pertaining to. Steel Prop says most estate sales have half off on last day or bag sales. It's surprising what people miss on those and wait in line for it the first day. I agree with you. The last time I did a Sunday like half off sale, I remember my wife was with me. I remember kind of exactly what part of town it was in. We were picking up all kinds of stuff, and it was usually bottles and just randomness, like stuff that was just tucked kind of like behind other stuff, garage stuff that people overlooked. But you're right, like half price, it makes sense. The only thing is, I like doing Sunday garage. I love doing Friday garage sales as of recently in the past month. I don't film them, but I like them because there's like no competition whatsoever. If you look at my most previous video on this channel, you're going to see what I found last Friday, which was like incredible stuff. And there was no competition. I'm like the only person there like buying stuff. It's ridiculous. That can be a really good thing. If you go to a garage sale at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock on a Friday and you're the only person there, these people want to sell something, right? They got to sell something. So they're willing to wheel and deal. You would be surprised. But if there are a ton of people there and it's a Saturday, they'll wheel and deal. Yeah, but like sometimes it's a little harder. And sometimes other people are snaking things and like, it's just it's different. It's not difficult. It's just different. Like Fridays are just relaxing. Like I'm looking forward to this Friday. I think it's going to be fun. I'm very optimistic about it. And it doesn't take very many garage sales to be profitable on a Friday, at least here in Austin, like 5 at most. And then it's like, wow, like 1 or 2 are hitting super good. So anyway, I like them. They're not always around all year long, but Saturdays seem to be all year long here in Austin, Texas. But Fridays are just, as of recently, they started becoming pretty good. And you bet your butt that right after working out on a Friday morning, like I am pounding down a protein shake and I am like immediately like zooming off to some near place to do my first garage sale. It's fun. Night Required Fields in the house. Charlie Favela says, hey, Bonafide, what is your take on selling on Etsy? I haven't started Etsy. I'm going to be honest with you. It's just another avenue. And avenues are great when you're a reseller. I have 4 avenues right now, right? Or actually 5 technically. One of the avenues I haven't picked up my check on, but I have 4 avenues. I have 5 avenues, but the 5th one I don't really look at very much. I was there last week. I know I have money waiting for me there, but it's like I don't pick it up because I just want to wait till it's like substantial or something. So the ones I have are eBay, Amazon FBA, Antique Booth, Craigslist, and then Play It Again Sports. Here in Austin, Texas, Play It Again Sports is pretty good. Now, the Play It Again is where my check is. There's just a check sitting there. I don't know how much it's for, though. I want to say by now it's probably over $100. It's just little random stuff that are selling. Like, we got lacrosse helmets, bats that I've turned in, Frisbee discs that I've turned in. What else is there? Just a bunch of random stuff. There's just random stuff, some snow helmets. And I'll pick up that check when I find something there that's about $150. And then I'll end up getting it for like $30. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get a lot more credit if you use the credit in the store. So I'm waiting until I find something like really awesome there that I can maybe reflip. So that's pretty cool. Those are 5 places that I use now. I can include a 6th, which would be Etsy. But man, that's just, it starts getting kind of complicated. It's already hard to like run 5 and run private label and run, the workout channel behind the scenes and get that where it needs to be and run the green room and run Bonafide Hustler. Like you got to think about it like, okay, this is a guy that clearly has a lot of things going on. So I don't know much about Etsy. I know that Eric Spears, my associate, not my associate, but my partner in the green room does Etsy, and he does fairly well at it. And he does it while he's in Japan. He has people in Florida, his family, like packaging up stuff that needs to go out. But he has his business in Etsy and an FBA right now, as I remember. Okay, one more to 50 likes. So yeah, that's right. 104 watching right now. Guys, the way that you do applause here on YouTube is you just hit the like button. So if you like what you're hearing, or just like the fact that I'm here, like answering some questions, I showed a garage sale haul. So the people that came late, the haul was pretty solid. There's some good ones in here. There's even a snorkel, a $3 snorkel that I picked up. It's sitting right back there, but I can't show it again. Yes. Okay. So any idea what kind of products from dollar stores are good to resell? I don't know. I can't remember the last time I've flipped something from a dollar store. It's tough. Like I can't remember that one. Yeah, I don't even know if I have. There are a lot of places you can flip stuff from. Like there was one point last year where I was like really I did about a month and a half sourcing replens. These are just everyday items that everyday stores have that you can make 20-30% on, and I did okay at it. Like I didn't do crazy amazing, but it definitely taught me something. And the replens that I got into where I went to places like TJ Maxx, or was it Ross? I think it was Ross. I went to Ross. I went into the beauty aisle and I was picking up lotions and conditioners and soaps and stuff like that with barcodes and scanning it. And believe it or not, some of those things were, you know, selling for really good money on FBA. So I was doing that. Replens could be things that are on clearance, not clearance, but even everyday things that are just marked down at Walgreens. That was a pretty good place to get some replens. And then Target. Target was really good. I was really crushing it hard with this thing called 7th generation hand soap. And those things, I think they were around 271, like with 10% off or something, like buy one get one free. They were 271 a piece, and I was selling for like 433 on FBA. Like that's what the check was getting cut out for me for. That's pretty good, 271, 433. You do the math, that's not bad. I just didn't want it gets old, like going up with a cart full of like 50 hand soaps. It's like, like I could just find, a Jet Fluid Pro Trainer that's down here for 70 bucks, and I could make $100 on that with one swoop on Craigslist locally, never have it returned, like don't have to deal with any feedback. So that's what's going on in my head. I think FBA is really good when it deals with electronics, especially, and some toys. Like I like electronics when a store is making a really good pivot or shift, and you're going to start seeing a lot of this going on in the next 5 years, starting now, because Amazon's basically killing everything. So stores are just kind of, I wouldn't say in disarray. They might look perfectly fine when you walk into them and you're already starting to see it in Walmart. Let's put it this way. You're already starting to see the effects in Walmart. Like Walmart hardly puts any effort into their electronics division, it seems. And I'm not talking about Black Fridays or flat screens. I mean, electronics as a whole. Video games they do okay on. TVs they seem to do okay on, but like printers and all this other stuff. Every Walmart here in Austin, Texas is just in disarray. It's all just the cameras, the camcorders, like the storage devices, it's all messed up. Like it doesn't look good. The POS is not good. Everything's not good. Like it's just not good. And it's probably because people are just buying on Amazon. No one cares about Walmart, at least on that stuff. And you start to see it in Target too. Like you start to see certain things in Target like not selling as well, and divisions of their electronic departments not selling as well. And there's a perfect time where you can come in and look for those red clearance tags and swoop in and try to get some stuff, So if you see a store resetting the electronics section or something like that, then that's one of those times that when a reset is coming. It's usually because they're either going harder into something and they're going to cut down some other division, or vice versa. It's something like that. But either way, something is being displaced. Sometimes it finds its way in the back room, but a lot of times it gets reduced to clearance and it's sitting there quickly, for like a week. And if you're lucky enough, you get to have it. And that is a place where now you fill a cart with 10, 20, 30, 40 boxes, and each one of those you're making 20 to 50 bucks on. That makes sense to me. I like that. But the replen thing was an experiment that I did for about a month and a half. I didn't like it so much. And I know people like it. I just don't like it that much. So, anyway, yeah, Piquilo says, I see a bunch of malls that are closing down. Yeah, malls are just a thing of the past. It's just it is sad, but what are you going to do? I mean, this is what it is. We see it in YouTube as well. We see some channels come and go, some channels put in a good amount of effort and then they stop and they kind of get, stale. And then some other new thing comes along that's like energetic and awesome. And then it's like everyone wants to subscribe to that person. And, that person's metrics go crazy. We see it everywhere you go. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, Sam's Clubs and, they just come out of nowhere. Price Club, Sam's Club, Costco's start blowing up everywhere, and it's a race to the money. It's just what it is. I mean, more efficient ways to bring the product to the consumer is winning. And right now, that's the reason why you're seeing a lot of these places invest in different things. And Walmart's doing 1 day, 2 day shipping, free in-store pickup, like immediately next day. Like they're trying as hard as they can to like compete with Amazon, which really has their stuff together. So I thought it was really interesting. Just that when I deal with FBA, it's very calculated, and it's very like, how many items can I get to make $30 a piece? Like I'll sink my teeth into a lot of things that pay 20, 30, but I don't want to chase $1 or $5 profits on FBA at all. I'd much rather work on my own business in the green room. Javier Felix, do I have any knowledge on bronze statues? No, I don't. I'm sorry, I do not. Here's Adam A517. I saw something in Walmart marked down 30, and that's what it was selling on eBay with free shipping. See, like they have zero clue what's going on. They have no clue. And that's the reason why it's just sitting there. It's sitting there taking up shelf space of some that's just, Walmart could do a whole lot of good if they just took a quarter of their store and rented it out to some badass company and just consolidated their store. They could do something like that. I don't know what it would look like, but or if they took a quarter of each one of their stores and made it like an FBA warehouse, then they would already have the land in place, the building in place. They wouldn't even have to source that part out. Like they need to start doing something like that, where it's like half warehouse, half actual store, because they have a lot of real estate in America. I want to say that there might be one of the largest real estate owners in America is Walmart, because there's so many of them, and they have great locations usually. What's my knowledge on blank media, CDRWs, VHS, cassette tapes, etc.? The big ones, VHS, anything with like extremely high bias, whether it's a VHS tape or a cassette tape, the higher the bias, the better it's going to be. So take a look. I mean, just because you find old media doesn't mean it's worth anything. It has to be the right bias, and it has to be the right quality, because typically the people that buy old media in bulk are going to be like super audiophile kind of people, and they're willing to pay up for good stuff. So what did I sell recently? Like a lot, not a lot, but a lot of high bias, metal bias, or metal bias, high bias, not high bias, metal bias cassette tapes used with audio on them, like in spoken word on them. I think I sold it for like 60 or $75, and it was like 26 tapes used. They all had cases, yes, but they were used. I want to say they were all the TDK or Maxell ones that were gray that you can't see through. But just do a search. If you want to start learning about something like right now, like a bolo, like, hey, Bonafide, give me a bolo when it comes to old media. Look up metal bias cassette tapes and then sort by used, and then see what sold in the past 90 days. You'll be like, what the hell? Like, this is incredible. So that's pretty interesting. It's way more interesting than like Polaroid, which I think most people know about, like unopened Polaroid packs. Yeah, those are gold. Everyone knows that. But if you're looking for tapes and new ones, like don't forget used metal bias tapes. Like those are really awesome. Like take a look. Just trust me. Okay, so let me get another question out of the way. Mellow Jimmy says, piss poor service and presentation are really killing traditional retail. Walmart is moving towards going online anyways, and their stores have been going downhill for years. That's true. It's just it, What are you going to do about it? David Walensky, what VHS players, brands, and what features am I looking for? Thanks. I did a show back in the day about VHS and how great it is and all that kind of stuff. VHS is interesting because it's like 50-50, especially when you involve FBA. Even when you involve eBay too, you have to have the right kind of VHS. Like if you're going to send in a VHS, we're just going to talk about VHS, not VHS DVD combos or VHS DVD with a HD recorder in there. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to talk about just VHS, recorders or playback things. You know what I'm talking about, VCRs. Those are good, but you're going to have to find like the cream of the crop ones, like the JVC, the SVHSs, the ones with a 4-head, hi-fi stereo. You really don't want to deal with anything that's not 4-head or hi-fi. You just don't want to. High fidelity stereo and 4 heads. 4 heads will allow better picture. It'll allow better picture, and it will also allow the slow motion to be better. And so it's typically frame by frame. It's just better. And it reads the tape much more efficiently because there's 4 heads it's going through. So look at Forehead, Hi-Fi. The brands you really want to look for: JVC, Panasonic, Magnavox is okay. There's another one. Sony's good. I don't even know what an SLV N51 is going for right now. We can take a look. Someone looked that up. SLV N51. That's probably one of the ones you'll find all the time at thrift stores. Try to find the remote with it. Don't ever send it in without the remote. It's 50-50 on VCRs. Like, for some reason, it's just for the size of them. And VCRs are not like, I used to send in a bunch, right? But I only send in the right ones now. The right ones that have stock boxes with them, that have the actual, how do I say it? They have the actual styrofoam in the box and everything. I send those in. I don't like sending in loose ones anymore, things I find from Goodwill, because they're just, there's like a 50% like fail rate on these things, I swear. And people buy them. I don't know if they're watching something real quick and then they just return it, but there's like a 50% fail rate. And if you try to mess with like things like CD disc carousels, for example, there's like a 50 to 75% fail rate on that with FBA. They just don't handle it right. It's a wonky mechanism to begin with. It really should not be involved in much transit. It's just not that strong. So if you're going to send something in and you want good money and it's electronic, I would deal with smaller or really high hitting stuff like DAT, MiniDisc, both portable and actual units, SVHS. I would deal with things that are just the step above, or maybe a technology that wasn't around for very long. Like, that is usually really, really good stuff to throw into FBA. And you can find those things for dead cheap, like $5 and below at a garage sale, $10 and below at a thrift store. So anyway, yeah, FBA screws up a ton of inventory. I'm just telling you, like, if I can tell you where I get 50% all the time, like returns of 50%, VHS, CD players, not portable ones, but actual like CD players that are really good, like SA CD players. And then what's the other one? Keurigs, man. Keurigs, like, they started off well for me. I was awesome, like, 5 for 5. That was badass. And then of course, like, something, they just started getting returned. I don't know what it is. So I stopped sending in Keurigs. Yeah, but I will sell Keurig parts on eBay because that's pretty good. Water tanks, easy stuff. But Keurigs, yeah, that's a 50% or higher kind of like fail rate right there. And you have to be kind of cognizant of these fail rates, because that's just telling you, like, hey, that's wasted money on your part, like in every way possible. It's like totally wasted. So just think about that kind of stuff. I have a Keurig right here on the floor that I bought for $6. It's a Cuisinart Keurig. I think on FBA it sells for like $109. But I'm probably going to try to move it on eBay for like $60. And if I decide not even to go that far, because I just don't want to put it in a box or whatever, I'm just lazy, I'm just going to take the tank away and then sell the tank. And the tank could sell for about 40. That's pretty good. I'd much rather deal with 40 with a tank that's never going to be returned, rather than a unit that might get cracked or damaged in shipment. So Blackhawk Surplus says, I've been getting hit high with returns on digital cameras lately on FBA. Yeah, not so much me. My last return was like 3 days ago. So weird. It was a bicycle roof rack for a snowboard, for skis and snowboards. Like, intact. Every piece was there, brand new. My guess is it didn't adapt to the dude's crossbars on his car or her car, whatever, sent it back. So I'm going to have to either, hopefully it makes it back into FBA inventory. If not, I'm going to have to like get it sent back to me and then sell it locally or something like that. But of course, it's going to get sent back to me locally in the heat of summer. And who the hell is going to buy a snowboard ski rack in the heat of summer? So it sucks. But anyway, garage flips, Walkmans are like a 75% fail rate, but they still get okay money broken. Yeah. Piquilo says, I just bought a MiniDisc Sony player with 20 MiniDiscs for $1. Yeah, there you go. Now you're making, that's good stuff right there. That's the good stuff. Are Lego still a thing? Are they going down in resale value? Depends. Like, loose Lego, sell it locally if you can. Weigh them out. Take out the Bionicle stuff and the Mega Block stuff, the stuff that really doesn't matter. You might want to think about taking away plates as well, and maybe certain figurines. But either way, in town, most local towns, Lego will go for $5 to $7 a pound, and that's not bad. If you're buying it for $1 to $2 and you can sell it for $5 to $7, then it's no different than taking a $1 to $2 item and then selling it for $5 to $7. Now, I don't condone doing that with stuff like, well, Bonafide said $1 to $2 item. I have this $1 shirt I can sell for $7. Like, don't do that. I'm talking about one and done local sale. You have 40 pounds of Legos or 50 pounds of Legos and you sell it to one person for $200 or $300. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about taking a $1 item, selling it for $7. No way. Like, no, that's gonna burn you up. I want the people that watch my videos to be able to make good money and to, work on something else. Like, I don't care if it's a guide or, a group, or if it's a product. I want you to work on something else, but have hustling as your foundation, or pay off a house or pay off a car, or, go to amazing vacations. But yeah, I don't want you spinning your wheels. Like, I think it's really important. Do not spin your wheels. Find out what your time is worth and chase good stuff. Um, Quinero says, I have a Marantz MD player I listen to. Awesome. I have like 2 or 3 mini discs in this drawer over here that I use as my test discs. And on those mini discs are all these like movie soundtracks or movie scores, I want to say, like the popular ones, and they're really good. We got like the Grease one in there, the Footloose one, stuff from Star Wars, just like really, really good stuff. So every now and then when I get a mini disc player, I'm like, oh yeah, like I get to listen to this thing again. So it's kind of cool. No, I'm here to warn you says I have about 10 speak and spells in storage. Speak and spells are pretty cool. I can sell a totally trash speak and spell in my booth for like 20 plus, like totally wrecked. It doesn't matter what color it is. I can sell it wrecked to pieces as long as it still can take the batteries and still turn on and have that weird like LED, like green, like, word thing. Then it's game on. If it even speaks a little bit, like people just love it. They just like it for like I don't understand it, but a speak and spell, if you don't know what that is, that was something in the 80s that Texas Instruments put out to help kids. It was like a version of like a Game Boy back then, or a Franklin dictionary thing. You can play Hangman on there or something. It was an educational type toy before Leapfrog, before any of these things came out. It was speak and spell. So that was pretty cool. I had one and I learned some good things. Adam A517 says, keep smashing the like button, folks. Awesome. I think that is pretty much it. Luis Miguel, any plans on having kids? Probably within a year, something like that. Yeah. Gonna have to teach the kid how to lift. We're gonna have to. Gonna have to put some creatine in the baby formula, so it can grow real big. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll probably have a kiddo, like, I don't know, in a year or something. Who knows? But right now, my mind is like on a couple things. The immediate thing that my mind is on is the Green Room Meetup, which is happening in 2.5 weeks. So that's really amazing stuff right there. Instead of doing my normal routine this morning, I instead went to go visit, or actually, no, I called the ranch up that we're going to have the event at, made sure to get the payment all squared away with that place, which we did. And then I went to the hotel that we're going to have most of the guests stay at. And I had to look at the seminar room, and I had to make decisions on what kind of audio video kind of setups that we want. What do we want to be eating there when the guests first show up? Like everything, like what time can I first show up there, so I can start prepping. A lot of interesting things. So it's funny. It's funny where YouTube has brought me, honestly. I'll tell you right now, like 5 years ago when I was holding a camcorder, or my wife was holding a camcorder, I don't even know if it was my wife or my neighbor, but someone was holding a stupid little Canon Kodak ZX5 waterproof camcorder that the funny story is I sold that thing for $97 on FBA. I think I bought it for like $60 on eBay. It just goes to show you that you can resell your awesome goods. But anyways, that helped me with the first year of my channel, at least the first 30 to 50 videos. And you guys really brought me to where I needed to be. But it's just interesting to think. And if you look back, like, how did this all start? Like, what did he do right? I don't think I don't think that is so much that I did things right. It's that I just inherently believed that people need to know about hustling. Like, I thought it was a good way. It felt to me like a loophole. And a loophole is something that you shouldn't hoard. Like, you shouldn't hoard things in life. If you got something good that can bring people out of misery or financial constraints or something, you got to share that thing out there, And so that's been my way of like thinking all the time. And that's the reason why I made videos. And I also made videos because I was like, crap, I'm going to also work hard and make a book out of it. And hopefully I can build some sort of a following on YouTube that'll buy the book. And the book did really well. The first one did pretty good. And it was interesting. I've always been like, wow, I've done this for X amount of years. Like, I want to teach this to people. And so I built a channel, and throughout the channel, like, I was like, oh, I'll make a book, And so people were like, this should be in the book. And truth be told, when I first started my YouTube channel, I had easily half of my first book written, but I went back, and with all the back and forward with the comments with the first round of people that supported me, I realized my book wasn't built right. So I had to go back and redo the whole freaking thing. And so that how, you know, it led to, you know, just me like, oh, that's the bona fide guy. And then I met Eric, college picker, who came to town and mountain biked with me. And then I met Young, and then I met Steve. And it's just really cool what you do with YouTube. But YouTube was the thing. And just making a decision to do something different with my life, I thought was really interesting. So yeah, just holding a camera and being awkward as you know what in front of it was the thing. That was the thing that I started, and I kept going with it. So yeah, that's just what it is. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is the fact that I wanted to share. And we always want to share and have fun and like be around like-minded people. So however you do it, however you find your kicks in life, just make sure you're not hoarding stuff, and tell people out there like, hey, you know, even though there's a lot of people like your family members and stuff don't care, like, wow, what a great flip, but we don't want to do it. You know, when you find someone that actually wants to do it and that is really, you know, looking at this like a viable way to make money, then teach them, right? Teach them and do good things. Do good things. This morning, I'll leave you guys with this. This morning, I was almost done with my workout, and this guy, like, it was a heavy day for me, right? So I had my weight belt on, and I was doing some heavy lateral, like, lifts. They're for shoulders. But I still had it on. Like, I do lateral lifts and a superset with some calf raises that are really heavy. And he saw me doing the calf raises. He's like, does the weight belt help with the calf raises? I'm like, no, it doesn't. He's like, do you wear it all the time during like a heavy day? I was like, no, just for certain exercises. I'm like, okay. He goes, do you think it would help me? Because my back really hurts really bad. I'm trying to rehab it. I was like, or he's like, my back hurts really bad. I was like, dude, I was like, you need to rehab your back. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, if your back goes, like, everything's gonna be miserable the rest of your life. You've got to rehab your back. And he's like, really? Okay, okay. And I was like, I kind of gave him a hint of like some of the stuff that I do. And then it dawned on me, I was like, you know what? I can give this guy a piece of my day and teach him these things, right? I can teach him these movements and it's like movements and workouts and exercises. It's like I can teach him. And so that's what I did. You know, I took time out of what would have been me with a computer at a coffee shop, and I sat down with a guy, and he was only 40 years old. You know, he's a younger guy, and 40 is kind of younger, honestly. In that gym, it is. And I sat down with him, and I told him all the things that I knew, or at least I showed him a good portion of what I know about lower back pain and how to alleviate it quickly. And then the ongoing exercises you need to do. And he was like blown away. He was like, wow, man. He's like, you're really cool. Like, what's your name, everything. And like, you know, I made sure to, I was like, I want you to do the form now in front of me. And like, I want to see what you've learned. And he did it all. And he was like, wow, I really feel what you're talking about. Like, so that was really cool. But that's just goes to show you, like, it's one thing to say you're that kind of person, and that you're giving and everything, but then you're not. And then it's another thing to say that, or not even say it, and then people just know that you are. And so, you know, take time out of your day, help people out. That's basically what it is. I will, you know, see you guys on the next Bonafide Hustler video. Hope you enjoyed the haul, and look forward to speaking to you guys almost every Monday. And things are going to get really awesome and really fast paced for this meetup. You're going to see a lot of content coming out of our channels, me, Rakin, College Picker. So when you see this content come out, like I said, on YouTube, the #1 way to show your appreciation, you don't have to buy any of our stuff. You don't have to do that or join any of our groups or whatever. But the #1 way you can support your favorite YouTubers or anything like that is to clap and hit the like button. That's the way we know that we did a good job. All right. Is we look at the likes and dislike ratio, and we kind of know, oh man, people really clapping behind the scenes. So I think that was pretty cool. And plus, if someone tomorrow reminds me when I do a live show, I'll tell you what happened this past weekend at a garage sale that was like freaky. It was really freaky, and it turned out to be something really, really good. But it freaked me out for a second. It freaked out the green room member that I was with, and it was something that I did that started the whole thing. So tomorrow, all right, if you watch me live tomorrow, remind me to tell the story. Okay, it's way worth it. I immediately text Rakin and Eric like this tirade paragraph of what was going on, and they were like, "No way!" Like, so it's pretty cool. Trust me. You guys are gonna be like, "What the hell? That's insane!" But it started with something that I did, and it's something that I'm known for. Like, just what I do. All right. So cliffhanger. That's right. What do you call it? Is it like not? What's the thumbnail thing? Clickbait. Yeah, this is like cliffhanger, clickbait to the next thing. All right. See you guys later. Thanks a lot, guys and gals. Good to see you.